Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to my channel, everybody. I figured today I would finally give you guys a race recap for the recent 5K that I ran. For those of you who didn't see it on my socials or didn't hear about it on Twitch or any of that, I did run a 5K. It is the RUN SLC 5K. It's actually part of a race series where I'm going to be running a 10K and a 15K as well. So I ran this race on February 4th. And it was downtown Salt Lake. And obviously, as you guys can you probably might have been able to tell by the ribbon on here, it was run by the SLRC, which is Salt Lake Running Company, which is a local company in Salt Lake, obviously. And yeah, I ran a 5K and I basically didn't train for it. And I probably should have. This is just kind of going to be like a sit down video where I go over the race, how I felt, and my times and my splits. And I have my phone in front of me. So if you guys didn't know, I have a Garmin. So it tracks everything and I've got all of my stats there. So I'm going to go over this stuff with you guys and yeah, let's get into it. So I briefly started going over the RUN SLC series, which like I said is a 5K, a 10K, and a 15K. I did the 5K obviously a few weeks ago and I'm about to do the 10K in about 2 weeks. I'm definitely not prepared for these. So it kind of sucks for me because I really had wanted to train better for these, but life got in the way and I didn't get a chance. If you guys saw on my TikTok, I did do a 30-day running challenge on TikTok. So I ran every single day for 30 days, whether it was just like running to the mailbox and like back to my front door or just actually putting in a real workout. I ran for 30 days. And then shortly after that, I went and I was traveling for work. So I really didn't get to run as much on that trip. I did get a lot of steps in because I was walking a lot and we went out and we got food, a bunch of not really coworkers, but like other people in my industry. And then I did have some time to run at their gym, but obviously I didn't get as much done. I just got it to count. And then shortly after that, I got sick and I was in St. Louis with one of my friends and staying with them. And then I ended up coming home early instead of going to my in-laws and running a 5K with them. At that point, I was fully trained to run a 5K, but that was back in November. December happened and my husband and I bought a house. Clearly, this is where I'm at right now. I didn't really get to run as much since moving into this house because we've been busy with that. We both got sick. So our move was supposed to take us about a week to get into this house and it ended up taking us almost 2 full weeks. And it was kind of a pain, but we did it. And so obviously I wasn't training. I was just lifting boxes and getting things into the house, getting my computer set up so I could stream and so I could work and just like getting the house ready for us to actually like live here and like be here full time. And then Christmas happened and the gyms weren't really open, obviously, because, you know, we've actually had a winter here in Utah. It wasn't really great to run outside. The gyms were closed. The New Year's happened. And then I was trying to avoid the gym because of the New Year crowd. Obviously, people always set these resolutions, which, hey, great for you. But for somebody who actually goes to the gym regularly, it was kind of annoying for me to deal with those people. But try not to do that. Yeah, I really just haven't gone. And then last month in January, I was trying to go a little bit more and I was trying to run outside about 2 weeks before the race. I was doing some outdoor training because I don't typically run in the cold. I do actually have asthma and it is a very, very mild form of asthma, but I have found that my triggers typically include campfire smoke or any type of smoke and cold weather. So if I'm in the cold for too long and like I'm not wearing a gaiter or like I don't have the proper like scarf or something to like cover my mouth. So like I'm not like inhaling too much cold air. I can trigger a little bit of my asthma. So that was definitely a factor that was going to hurt me in this race. Also, since I live in the Salt Lake Valley, I live along the Wasatch Front. We also just suddenly like a few days before this race suddenly started having poor air quality days. And like, I know that we have those a lot, but there was like something that they explained, like some like inversion or something where we were having some really bad air quality days because we do have a lot of air pollution here in Salt Lake. So yeah, bad air quality day. It was very obvious my lungs were not going to do well. And on top of that, I was running in one of my triggers. So basically I had 2 triggers, which were already hurting me for this race. But given the time that I actually ran the race in, I feel pretty decent about it. So for the actual 5K, I just got my little finisher's medal. That's all I have. I didn't place. Obviously, I wasn't that fast. I ran this race in about 39 minutes and 27 seconds, which isn't a PB for me, but it is still pretty average for my running journey. My PB right now for running, I think, is like 31 minutes. And I ran that a few years ago. I think it was like back in 2019. I ran that. So obviously it's 2023 and I really haven't kept up with my running like I should have. But anyway, my best is about 31 minutes in an actual race setting. Obviously, in non-race settings, I have run faster than that and I have gotten a sub 30 5K. But for this particular race, I didn't do that. I got 39:27, which I wasn't too happy with, but I was glad it was under 40 minutes. And that's really what I was shooting for once I started seeing the finish line. I was like, I just need to get under 40 minutes. So I did, and I'll take it. We started at Salt Lake Running Company. We started there. We like ran around some neighborhoods. It was just an out and back course. For the 10K and the 15K, it's also gonna be the same thing. I'm basically gonna run the same course. They're just gonna add stuff to it so that the point where I turn around is gonna be a different section. This 10K is gonna be kind of rough, but we're not here to talk about the 10K. We're still gonna talk about that 5K. So I had two of my triggers. Lungs were not great. Obviously, it's not the best excuse in the world, but my lungs were not doing too hot at this race. And also, I didn't really train. I kind of expected that my time was going to be that, and I'm definitely not going to do well on the 10K. I was really, really hoping when I had signed up for these races a few months ago that I was going to train better, and I didn't. And now I'm back to training. Currently, the training plan I'm using is through my Garmin app, and I am setting it to train for a 10K, but I'm running that 10K in like 2 weeks. So at this point, it's really just to get me back on a schedule and to help build some consistency and help build up that endurance again that I used to have. Because the best 10K that I have run, I believe it was about an hour and 11 minutes. And I've been trying to shoot for a sub 1 hour, 10 minute 10K. So we're getting there. I felt really kind of gross after this run. I was just sweaty. I felt like the gloves I had chosen for this run were way too thick. I had bought them on purpose because in my training runs, my fingers were way too cold in a lot of them. And so I bought a slightly thicker pair of gloves. Turns out they were way too thick and I was sweating 10 times more than I had sweated in any of my training runs. And I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, it's not that much warmer than my training runs. And it just was all around not a great race for me. But I'm really excited to see what happens because this is hopefully going to get me back into running. And I have more races planned for this year. So like we kind of briefly explained, there's a series with this race. I've been wanting to run this since I moved out to Utah. There's also a slight little magnet on the medals, so they will actually all combine together to make one super medal. And I recently added up this thing behind me so that you guys can actually see my medals, and this is displayed on the end as well, but I'm holding it for today's video. And yeah, hopefully we'll get some more race recaps. I don't have any races planned for the summer or the fall. I'm purposely not planning them just because I know some friends are getting married and I don't want to plan a race and then, you know, not go to the race for the wedding, you know, or vice versa. I would definitely choose my friends over the races, just so you guys know. But I'm hoping that maybe this is the year that I run my first half marathon. That's kind of my goals. That's kind of like where I'm going with all of this. And yeah, I hope to share more of my running journey with you guys. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, I'm sorry, just keep scrolling. I do a lot of other things on the internet, so you'll have other content from me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.